Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Michelle. I'm a portrait photographer and I want to help other photographers build a business that they love, and I'm so thankful that you clicked on today's video because we're talking about the good stuff. Like legit, how do we do this as full-time photographers? How do we price ourselves to go full-time, and what does that mean? What does that even mean, full-time? And we're getting into all of it today. But just to thank you for clicking on today's video and thank you for taking your time to watch this video, I have a freebie for you. So I have a free photographer's pricing guide down below. I walk you step by step on fill in the blanks on how you figure out how to price yourself. So if you want that guide, click the link below and let's get into it. Okay, I'm gonna be totally honest. When I first started doing photography, man, 8 years ago professionally, there wasn't a lot out there to be helpful. It was all kind of mysterious. There was like general rules of thumb that every photographer should 3x the price of cost of goods and that would do it. Or nowadays I feel like people advertise that you need to be making 6 figures to be a full-time photographer. And honestly, all that stuff is BS. Do I want you to make 6 figures for a photographer? Absolutely. Is it possible? Absolutely. Do you need to do that in order to be full-time? No. I want to get you to be a full-time photographer if that's what you want to do, or making a really good living as a photographer as fast as possible. And today I'm going to give you realistic guides and steps to figuring out how you actually do that. All it comes down to numbers, guys. Literally, just numbers. If you can do the math, then it gives you so much more information and you'll be well on your way to actually doing this thing. And the reason we're doing it this way is because I don't want you to no longer just pick a random number to charge people or look at the photographer down the street and charge the same thing they're doing so you can stay within competitors' market. Like, no. That is not the recipe for success, guys. That is gonna lead to burnout. That is just not gonna be the way to do it. So let me help you figure out how to actually price yourself so you can make like a living from this full time. So let's get into it. If you're tired of pulling numbers out of the air, feeling exhausted because you have worked so many hours and you're not getting what you need to make the bills, pay the bills, or if you feel like you're just so confused and you pick random numbers for your competitors down the street and you just use their numbers, because in the long run, it's not gonna lead to success. It's just gonna lead to frustration on your part and burnout. And I don't want that for you. So let's get into how we actually do this. Okay, the first thing I want you to do is grab a pen and paper, have no distractions so you can think clearly, and then write down all of your family's bills. What does it cost your family to live every month? This could be obviously mortgage or rent. I want utility bills in there, subscriptions like Netflix. Do you have gym memberships you pay for? Your grocery bills, like an average of grocery bills. You need to figure out what it costs your family to function. And then I want you to figure out what's your portion of that. Are you full-time breadwinner? Are you the main income? Maybe you have a spouse contributing half, or maybe you only need a quarter of it. What does your income need to be in order to provide for your family? So for example, let's say it costs $4,000 for your family to live every month and you have a spouse, maybe that's contributing half of that. So you need to bring in $2,000 a month. Step 2, I want you to figure out the cost of doing business, meaning what it costs every month of your business to keep its lights on. Meaning, do you have website hosting you pay for every month, Adobe, like Photoshop or Lightroom you pay for every month? Maybe you do online galleries. What does it cost for that to run a month? I want you to add up all those subscriptions, everything, and just figure out like what's the cost of doing business for you every month. And just for example, let's say it's pretty low. Maybe you work from home and you're just starting out, so it's pretty low cost. So let's say like $250 a month for your business to run. So then I want you to add up your family goal that you need to contribute, which in this example was $2,000, and then your business monthly goal, which was $250, to equal your monthly goal, which is $2,250. And you have to know those two numbers before you do any other thing moving forward. You have to know at least those two numbers. Now that we know we need to make $2,250 a month, we need to times that by 12 to figure our annual yearly income. So For that, in this example, that would be $27,000 a month is what we would need to contribute in order to keep our business running and to keep our family chugging along. Step 3 is so important and it's so overlooked. From all these educators I see online, I feel like they gloss this part over so much and it's so important. So what is step 3? We have to figure out how many clients we can realistically take. I want you guys to have longevity in this career, and a lot of photographers get burned out because they just shoot as much as they possibly can in every waking hour and all the things because they haven't put their realistic client goal in front of them. So are you a mom? Are you single? I mean, are you able to work nights and weekends with no problems? Those things, your lifestyle needs to factor into all of this. And also, where you live. Can you shoot all year long? Do you have a studio space if it's bad weather? Or are you just a natural light photographer that only can shoot in the nicer weather? Maybe you're in the south and it gets super hot to the point where you can't shoot, or in the winter time, like here, I'm in the north. I can't shoot for half the year because it's just so cold outside unless I rent studio space. So all these things need to factor into play of what you can actually take on. Okay, for example, let's say you can realistically take on 2 clients a week. So you can take 2 clients a week where you can serve them well, deliver above and beyond expectations, and not be overwhelmed with your family life. So that's 8 clients a month. And then let's say you're like me, where you live in an area where you can only shoot 6 months out of the year. So the other 6 months is just too cold or the weather is terrible. So 6 months out of the year at 8 clients a month is 48 clients a year. So awesome. Right away, I hope that feels like a relief to you, that it's like, okay, that's not that much. Like I can do that. So next we need to take our annual income goal, which was $27,000, and divide it by how many clients we can realistically take a year, which was 48. And that comes out roughly to, unfortunately it's not an even number, it's like $562. So what that means is I need to profit, so that's what I need to take home from every client. I need to take $562 home with me from 48 clients a year in order to meet my revenue goal. Now notice I said the $562 needs to be profit. So I will get into all of this in another video just because I don't want this video to be too long, but you also need to be figuring your cost of goods, whether you do prints, albums, canvases, stuff like that, and then also of course taxes. You need to be figuring out how much taxes are coming out for your income tax, and if you need, if your state does sales tax and all the requirements there. Again, I'll go through all that, but basically if you figure out those two things out, you need to add that onto your profit goal, because you don't want that to be taken away from your profit, because obviously you're taking home less money then and you're not going to meet your goal. I just wanted you guys to get at least a starting point, figuring out what your family needs, what your business needs, how many clients you can take, and then it gives you a really good starting point of building your collections or packages around that number, so you're not just picking numbers out of thin air. And you guys, this will help so much with any like scarcity mindset you might have, or guilt maybe of charging that number, because you know that you need to charge that number to put food on your family's table. And I promise guys, it's gonna empower you eventually. If it's a higher number than what you're charging now, which is totally normal, if you're used to just charging like $150 per client and you're wondering why you're feeling burnout, at least now you have a general idea of where you need to be in order to make your life beautiful. Like, it can be an amazing career, but it also can be really time consuming and energy zapping. So in order to have that equal exchange of energy and money, you need to figure out these numbers so you can have a business and not just a hobby. Now you might be saying, well, Michelle, how do I know I'm going to get 48 clients and all those things? Well, first of all, you can look back. If you've been doing photography, look back last year, see how many clients you had. It kind of gives you a ballpark of how many clients you roughly take. But we'll get into more of this in like marketing. You can do payment plans, stuff like, there's all these strategies that we can get you there. But before you jump into all that other stuff, I need you guys to have a solid foundation for your numbers. Every time I talk to a photographer and they're worried about all these other things, I ask them, well, what do they need to make? What do they need to make this month to keep the lights on? And most of the time they don't know. Or I ask, how much are you making from each client? most people don't know. So we need to go back to this first, and then we can build on from there. And I promise you guys, you can have a beautiful life, a beautiful full-time photography career. Just stepping stones, one step at a time. All right, guys, again, if you want a free PDF guide where it breaks it down step by step what we talked about today, then grab it for free with the link in the description box below, and let me know what you guys want to hear next, or if this made sense, or if you had an aha moment. I want to hear all the things so I can create content and videos that you guys actually need and want. Until next time, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.